The episode opens with Mikami Satoru, a 37-year-old office worker living a mundane life in modern-day Tokyo. Despite his age, Mikami has never had a girlfriend, but he remains content with his life. However, his peaceful routine is abruptly interrupted when he is fatally stabbed while walking home from work. In his final moments, Mikami reflects on his life and regrets not having a girlfriend. But instead of passing into the afterlife, he finds himself reincarnated in a fantastical world as a slime creature. Confused and disoriented, Mikami discovers that he possesses unique abilities, including pain nullification and predator, which allow him to absorb and mimic the skills of creatures he consumes. As Mikami explores his new form and abilities, he encounters Veridora, the storm dragon, who has been sealed within a cave for the past 300 years. Despite initial misunderstandings, Mikami and Veridora strike up an unlikely friendship. Veridora explains that he was sealed by a powerful hero using a technique called unlimited imprisonment after inadvertently causing destruction in a nearby town. With Veridora's guidance, Mikami begins to understand the nature of his new existence and the world around him. Together, they discuss various topics, including magic, otherworlders, individuals from different worlds, and the concept of friendship. Throughout the episode, Mikami grapples with the reality of his reincarnation and the vast possibilities that lie ahead in this new world. As he embarks on his journey with Veridora, Mikami embraces his newfound identity as a slime and prepares to face the adventures and challenges that await him. And so, Mikami's ordinary life in Tokyo is replaced by an extraordinary adventure in a world filled with magic, mythical creatures, and boundless possibilities. Rimuru and Veldora discussing the unlimited imprisonment seal that has kept Veldora trapped for 300 years. Despite attempts to break the seal, they realize it won't be easy. However, Rimuru suggests a plan to analyze the seal from both inside and outside using their combined abilities. To facilitate this plan, Rimuru offers to temporarily consume Veldora, allowing them to work together to break the seal. Veldora agrees, and before they begin, Rimuru suggests giving each other names as a sign of equality and solidarity. Veldora chooses the name Veldora Tempest, while Rimuru selects the name Rimuru Tempest. With their newfound names and determination, Rimuru consumes Veldora, and they begin their mission to break the seal. Meanwhile, outside the cave, the disappearance of Veldora, a catastrophe-class monster, creates chaos in the surrounding countries. In the Kingdom of Blumen, Minister Baron Veriard discusses the potential consequences of Veldora's disappearance with Guild Master Fuse. They fear that without Veldora, the neighboring Eastern Kingdom may advance through the Great Forest of Jura, threatening their territories. As tensions rise, Baron Veriard decides to personally investigate the situation to assess the kingdom's vulnerabilities. Back in the cave, Rimuru spends several weeks exploring and gaining new skills by consuming various creatures. Eventually, he discovers what appears to be the exit and successfully breaks through the rusty door. Emerging into the sunlight, Rimuru marvels at the outside world for the first time in a long while. Outside, Rimuru encounters a group of goblins who mistake him for a powerful monster due to his aura. After a brief confrontation, Rimuru communicates with them using magic sense and learns that their village is under threat from direwolves. The Goblin Elder requests Rimuru's help in defeating the direwolves, explaining that they've already lost many warriors in previous battles. In exchange, they offer their loyalty and protection to Rimuru. Moved by their plight and wanting to put on a show, Rimuru accepts the goblins' request and promises to defeat the direwolves. With Rimuru assuming the role of the goblins' leader and preparing to face the direwolves in battle. After consuming Veldora and beginning the process of analyzing the unlimited imprisonment seal, Rimuru and Veldora work together to eventually break the seal. Rimuru gains new skills and abilities while inside the cave, including healing powers, before emerging into the outside world. Outside, Rimuru encounters a group of goblins who request his help against an attack by direwolves. Moved by their plight, Rimuru accepts their request and promises to protect the village. Rimuru heals the wounded goblins and helps fortify the village's defenses. When the direwolves attack, Rimuru uses his newly acquired skills to defeat them and forces the remaining direwolves to surrender. After the battle, Rimuru names all the goblins, including the leader, Rigurd, and the direwolf, Ranga. However, naming so many creatures at once drains Rimuru's magic tools, causing him to enter a 3-day sleep mode for recovery. Upon awakening, Rimuru learns that the goblins and direwolves have evolved into stronger forms due to their names. He sets 3 rules for them to follow: no attacking humans, no fighting amongst themselves, and no belittling other races. Rimuru assigns tasks to the creatures to ensure the village's survival and decides to visit the dwarves in Dworgen for assistance with building houses and making clothes. Excited to meet the dwarves, Rimuru leaves the village in Rigurd's care and heads to Dworgen, eager to explore the city and seek help from the skilled artisans. Rimuru embarking on his journey to the kingdom of the dwarves. Rimuru and his companions travel north along the Ameld River towards Dworgen, the kingdom of the dwarves. Accompanied by Rigur, 2 other goblins, and Gopta as their guide, they hope to find skilled artisans who can make clothing and houses for the goblins. Rimuru learns more about the Tempest Wolves, the evolved form of the Direwolves, and their loyalty to him despite his role in defeating their leader. As they approach Dworgen, they encounter a checkpoint where they are confronted by aggressive humans. Rimuru uses his skills to intimidate them and avoid conflict. Upon reaching Dworgen, Rimuru and Gopta enter the city while the others wait outside. Inside, they encounter Kajin, a blacksmith, and his brothers. Kajin is unable to fulfill a large order of swords due to a shortage of materials and time constraints. Rimuru offers a solution by providing a cluster of magisteel, which Kajin can use to make the swords. In return, Rimuru asks Kajin to send artisans to his village to teach crafting skills. Kajin agrees, and Rimuru uses his powers to replicate the magisteel cluster into enough material for the swords. With the order fulfilled, Kajin invites Rimuru and Gopta to a party at a local establishment called Butterflies of the Night. At the party, Rimuru and Gopta enjoy themselves surrounded by elves and other guests. Despite initially resisting, Rimuru finds himself having a good time. Rimuru reflects on his newfound ability to replicate the sword made by Kajin, the weaponsmith, with ease. Kajin expresses his desire to leave the country to escape Minister Vesta's tyranny, and Rimuru welcomes him and his companions to join their village. At a celebratory party, Rimuru enjoys the festivities while Gopta is left unnoticed. Rimuru interacts with an elf fortune teller who teases him about his destined partner, sparking curiosity in him. Minister Vesta confronts Kajin, criticizing Rimuru's presence in the party and causing a scene. Kajin defends Rimuru, leading to a confrontation between them and Minister Vesta. Despite Vesta's provocations, Kajin maintains his composure. The next day, Kajin decides to join Rimuru's village, and they prepare to leave Dworgen. However, they are stopped by guards and brought to trial for the incident involving Minister Vesta. During the trial, King Gazel Dworgo presides over the case. Kajin and his companions are accused of assaulting Minister Vesta. Kajin defends himself, explaining that they merely scolded Vesta for his rude behavior towards Rimuru. However, Vesta presents false testimony, accusing them of assault. Despite Kajin's attempts to defend himself, King Gazel Dworgo delivers a harsh sentence. Kajin and his companions are sentenced to exile, with Kajin receiving the harshest punishment of 20 years of forced labor in the mines. Before leaving, Kajin expresses his gratitude to Rimuru and apologizes for causing trouble. He reflects on his loyalty to Rimuru and expresses his desire to serve him. Meanwhile, Minister Vesta is reprimanded by King Gazel Dworgo for his actions. Vesta is ordered to observe Rimuru closely, as the king is concerned about the slime's influence. Rimuru's party departing from Dworgen, accompanied by their new companions, Kajin and his companions, as they head towards their village. Rimuru and his companions, Kavel, Aaron, and Guido, returning to the Free Union Blumen Guild after their expedition to the Great Forest of Jura. Despite their fatigue, Guildmaster Fuse immediately requests a report on their findings regarding Veldor's disappearance. The Guildmaster orders them to investigate further due to the significance of Veldora's absence. While the party members express their exhaustion and desire for rest, Fuse grants them only 3 days off before assigning them to continue their investigation in the forest. Despite their complaints, they reluctantly agree to the Guildmaster's orders. As they discuss their next mission, a mysterious woman named Shizu approaches them and requests to accompany them through the forest. Despite Cable's initial objection, Rimuru accepts Shizu's request to join their journey, sensing that she may have important information or skills to offer. Back at Rimuru's village, the goblins are busy constructing new homes and settling into their new environment. Kajin and his brothers, skilled craftsmen from Dworgen, contribute to the village's development by sharing their expertise in construction and craftsmanship. With their help, the village begins to take shape, showcasing the progress and growth of Rimuru's community. Reflecting on recent events, Rimuru recalls Gopta's unexpected heroism during their time in Dworgen. Despite Gopta's usual clumsiness, his determination and resourcefulness in a critical situation earned him respect from Rimuru and his companions. This moment highlights Gobta's growth as a character and his willingness to step up when needed. As Rimuru spends time with Shizu, she opens up about her tragic past and the circumstances that led her to their world. Shizu reveals that she was summoned as a powerful weapon during a war in her homeland, but her experiences have left her scared and haunted by memories of violence and destruction. Rimuru empathizes with her and offers his support, vowing to create a peaceful world where everyone can live happily. Ryuru's companions discussing plans for building new houses in the village, while Rimuru and Shizu share a heartfelt moment together, bonding over their shared experiences and hopes for the future. With the arrival of the sorcerer Konik, who challenges Rimuru's power in an attempt to become the Demon Lord. However, before any confrontation occurs, Rimuru's attention is drawn to a disturbance caused by a powerful fire spirit named Ifrit. Ifrit, under the control of an unknown assailant, begins attacking Rimuru's village and its inhabitants. Rimuru quickly realizes that Ifrit's rampage is a direct threat to his friends and allies. Meanwhile, Rimuru reminisces about Shizu's past and their time together. He recalls how Shizu, despite her tragic history and fearsome reputation as the conqueror of flames, found solace and companionship among Rimuru and his friends. As Ifrit's attacks intensify, Rimuru and his companions prepare to confront the fire spirit. Despite the danger, they refuse to abandon their village and stand together to protect it. Rimuru devises a plan to neutralize Ifrit's fire attacks using his unique abilities. With the help of his companions, Rimuru launches a coordinated counterattack against Ifrit. During the battle, Rimuru unveils a hidden power known as thermal fluctuation resistance, which allows him to nullify Ifrit's fire attacks effortlessly. With this newfound advantage, Rimuru gains the upper hand in the battle against Ifrit. As the battle reaches its climax, Rimuru uses his unique skill Predator to absorb Ifrit's power, effectively neutralizing the threat posed by the fire spirit. In the aftermath of the battle, Rimuru asserts his determination to protect his friends and allies from any future threats. With Ifrit defeated and peace restored to the village, Rimuru reflects on the bonds of friendship and camaraderie that have grown stronger through adversity. Rimuru and his companions are preparing for the challenges that lie ahead, knowing that they can face any obstacle as long as they stand together. Rimuru, reflecting on his recent encounter with Shizu and the tragic events of her past, he recounts how Shizu shared her memories with him, detailing her struggles with the fire spirit Ifrit and her journey alongside the hero. Shizu reveals that after being possessed by Ifrit, she served the Demon Lord for a time before meeting the hero, who helped her control the spirit's influence. With the hero's guidance, Shizu learned to harness Ifrit's power and became known as the Conqueror of Flames. However, as Shizu grew older, controlling Ifrit became increasingly difficult, leading her to retire and become an instructor at a school for interdimensional travelers. Despite her efforts to live peacefully, Shizu embarked on a journey to confront the man who summoned her to this world, seeking answers and closure. As Shizu's condition worsens, she makes a final request for Rimuru to consume her, allowing her to rest peacefully within him. Rimuru agrees, granting Shizu's wish and absorbing her into his being. Rimuru reflects on Shizu's life and promises to fulfill her final wishes, vowing to confront the Demon Lord Leon Cromwell and ensure the safety of the children she cared for. After bidding farewell to Shizu's former companions, Rimuru receives parting gifts from the artisans of the village, including new equipment crafted by renowned blacksmiths. With newfound determination, Rimuru sets out on his journey to gather information about Leon Cromwell and fulfill his promise to Shizu. Embracing his role as the inheritor of Veldora's will and Shizu's legacy, Rimuru prepares for the challenges ahead, which concludes with Rimuru encountering a mysterious figure named Jelmud, who offers him a name and food, setting the stage for the next chapter of Rimuru's journey. Keijin and the three dwarf brothers, Garm, Dord, and Mird, continued their efforts to improve the village. Meanwhile, the Goblin Lords, under Rigurd's leadership, established a system for governing the village. Rimuru, pleased with the progress in the village and grateful for everyone's efforts, decided to focus on something important to him. He repaired Shizu's keepsake and reflected on her memory, vowing to take good care of it. With his newfound ability to mimic a human form, Rimuru transformed into a human, marveling at the sensation of having a physical body. He experimented with different appearances and realized that he lacked a gender while in human form. Exploring his newfound abilities further, Rimuru discovered that he could create an adult form using black mist generated by magical consumption. However, he refrained from creating a form resembling Shizu out of respect for her memory. Rimuru also tested out Shizu's mask, which suppressed his magic aura, allowing him to conceal his true nature when traveling to new places. Excited about his ability to eat food in human form, Rimuru decided to join the villagers for meals from now on, eager to experience different tastes and flavors. While enjoying the feast, Rimuru received a thought communication from Ranga, who informed him about an incident in the forest. Rushing to the scene, Rimuru encountered a group of ogres who had been injured by Gopta and Rigurd. Despite the misunderstanding, Rimuru managed to calm the situation and offered to accompany the ogres back to the village. Along the way, Rimuru demonstrated his strength and abilities, gaining the ogres' trust. Back at the village, Rimuru healed the wounded ogres and joined them for the feast. Despite the initial tension, everyone enjoyed the meal together, and Rimuru formed a bond with the ogres. As they prepared to head back to the village, Rimuru learned that the ogres had no names. Determined to change that, Rimuru promised to give them names in the future. With the feast bringing everyone together, Rimuru reflected on the events of the day and looked forward to the future adventures that awaited them. As Rimuru recovered and regained consciousness, he found himself surrounded by his newly named subordinates. Benimaru, Shuna, Cheyenne, Sui, Kurobe, and Gabiru stood before him, having evolved into their respective forms as Kijin, the ogre princess, and a middle-aged man among them. Rimuru realized that his act of naming them had drained his magic tools, causing him to enter sleep mode temporarily. However, he was delighted to see his subordinates thriving in their evolved forms. With Gabiru's declaration to take revenge on the orcs and become the next chieftain of the Lizardmen, Rimuru realized the gravity of the situation. The Orc Lord, a powerful and fearsome unique monster, had emerged, threatening the balance of power in the great forest of Jura. Meanwhile, Ranga reported sightings of lizardmen negotiating with nearby goblin villages, indicating a potential alliance against the orcs. Rimuru saw an opportunity to strengthen their forces and confront the orc army head-on. Gabiru, fueled by the support of his comrades, vowed to lead the lizardmen to victory and establish himself as the new chieftain. Encouraged by Gabiru's determination, Rimuru prepared to assist him in his quest to repel the orcs and restore peace to the great forest of Jura. As tensions escalated and preparations for battle began, Rimuru and his allies braced themselves for the impending conflict with the formidable Orc Lord and his massive army. With Benimaru and his companions integrating into Rimuru's village, their diverse skills and expertise greatly enhanced the community. Benimaru's leadership qualities and combat prowess, coupled with his comrades' specialized abilities, brought new vitality and strength to the burgeoning settlement. Shuna's expertise in silk weaving not only provided the villagers with sturdy clothing, but also contributed to the enhancement of their defensive capabilities. Meanwhile, Cheyenne's unwavering dedication as Rimuru's secretary and bodyguard ensured efficient governance and protection within the village. Amidst these developments, Gabiru's diplomatic efforts bore fruit as he successfully negotiated alliances with neighboring goblin villages. The influx of goblin warriors bolstered the village's military might, preparing them for the imminent threat posed by the orc invasion. However, Gabiru's overbearing demeanor and desire for dominance strained relations with Rimuru's village, culminating in a confrontation with Gopta. Despite Gabiru's arrogance, Gopta's unexpected victory showcased his strength and earned him newfound respect among his peers. As tensions simmered within the village, Rimuru contemplated the looming danger posed by the orc invasion and the potential involvement of a demon lord or orc lord. The arrival of Traini, a dryad from the great forest of Jura, added urgency to their plight as she pleaded for assistance in defeating the Orc Lord. Traini's revelation shed light on the grave threat facing the forest and its inhabitants, prompting Rimuru and his allies to prepare for the impending conflict. With alliances solidified, skills honed, and determination steeled, they braced themselves for the looming battle against the Orc Lord, ready to protect their home at all costs. As the village rallied together to confront the encroaching darkness, Rimuru's leadership and the collective strength of their diverse allies became their greatest assets in the struggle for survival and peace in the great forest of Jura. As the alliance between Rimuru's village and the Lizardmen is solidified, preparations for the impending battle against the Orc Lord intensify. Traini's plea for assistance, coupled with the revelation of the Orc Lord's unique skill, Famine, highlights the dire nature of the threat they face. Rimuru, recognizing the urgency of the situation, pledges to take on the challenge of defeating the Orc Lord alongside his allies. With the support of his companions and the belief in his leadership, Rimuru resolves to confront the Orc Lord head-on. Meanwhile, Gabiru's ambition to prove himself as the rightful chief of the Lizardmen leads him to take drastic measures. He captures the leaders of the lizardmen who oppose his defensive strategy, intending to demonstrate his strength and leadership prowess in battle. However, Gabiru's overconfidence and underestimation of the Orc Lord's power prove to be his downfall. As the battle unfolds, the lizardmen's agility and combat prowess initially give them an advantage. They utilize their knowledge of the terrain to outmaneuver the Orc forces, launching swift and coordinated strikes against their enemies. At first, it seems that Gabiru's strategy is successful, and the lizardmen gain the upper hand in the battle. However, the Orc Lord's terrifying ability to consume and absorb the strength of his own troops turns the tide of the battle against Gabiru and his forces. The chaotic scene of orcs devouring each other underscores the grim reality of facing the Orc Lord's overwhelming power. Despite their valiant efforts, Gabiru and his followers find themselves outmatched and overwhelmed by the relentless onslaught of the Orc army. As the battle reaches its climax, the true terror of the Orc Lord becomes apparent, leaving Rimuru and his allies to contemplate the formidable challenge ahead. With the fate of the great forest of Jura hanging in the balance, they must steel themselves for the ultimate confrontation with the Orc Lord and his forces. Rimuru's village, led by Benimaru, Cheyenne, Hakaru, Sui, Roinga, and the Goblin Riders, embarks on a mission to form an alliance with the Lizardman chief to combat the Orc army. Sui scouts ahead and discovers Lizardmen engaged in battle with high-ranked orcs. He swiftly intervenes, demonstrating his combat prowess and rescuing the lizardmen, including Gabiru's sister. Gabiru's sister, recognizing Rimuru's potential, implores him to save her father and brother, who are in dire straits due to Gabiru's failed coup against the chief. Rimuru agrees to aid them and forms an alliance with the lizardmen, with Gabiru's sister representing the chief. Soi is dispatched to rescue the lizardman chief, while Rimuru and the others prepare to engage the orc forces. Gabiru, seeking redemption, challenges the Orc general to a duel but is quickly overwhelmed, realizing the true extent of the Orc's power. Meanwhile, Trainee confronts Gelmud and Laplace, warning them against their nefarious deeds in the forest. Gelmud and Laplace retreat, realizing the threat Trainee poses. As the battle rages on, Gabiru and his forces struggle against the Orcs, but Rimuru's reinforcements, including Ranga in his Tempest Star Wolf form, arrive and turn the tide of the battle. With overwhelming strength, they push back the Orc forces and secure victory. Meanwhile, Gelmud realizes that Rimuru's village has evolved beyond his expectations and fears for his own plans. He resolves to take action to prevent Rimuru from interfering further. Rimuru facing off against the Orc Lord, ready to confront the source of the Orc threat and bring an end to the conflict. The battle against the Orc Lord reaches its climax as Rimuru confronts Gelmud, the mastermind behind the chaos. Gelmud, driven by his desire to create a powerful minion, reveals his plan to sacrifice Gabiru and empower the Orc Lord to become a new demon lord named Orc Disaster. Rimuru intervenes to protect Gabiru and thwart Gelmud's scheme. Despite Gelmud's attempts to manipulate the situation, Rimuru sees through his intentions and exposes him for the villain he truly is. Gabiru and his followers, who were previously deceived by Gelmud, witness his treachery and align themselves with Rimuru. As Gelmud's plans crumble, he attempts to use Gabiru as a sacrifice to fuel the Orc Lord's transformation. However, Rimuru steps in and engages Gelmud in battle, ultimately defeating him. Gelmud's demise leads to the emergence of Orc Disaster, a powerful entity fueled by Gelmud's ambitions and the Orc's suffering. Orc Disaster proves to be a formidable foe, resisting Rimuru's initial attempts to subdue him. Benimaru's fire-based attacks and Rimuru's strategic use of the Great Sage ability only temporarily hinder Orc Disaster's advance. However, Rimuru's unique ability, Predator, allows him to consume Orc Disaster and absorb his power. As Rimuru consumes Orc Disaster, he also absorbs the sins and suffering of the Orc race, putting an end to their famine and liberating them from their torment. With Orc Disaster defeated, the Orc invasion comes to an abrupt halt, and Rimuru gains the allegiance of Gabiru and his followers. Gabiru pledges his loyalty to Rimuru, offering to serve as his secretary and bodyguard. Rimuru accepts Gabiru's offer, marking a significant turning point in their alliance. The episode concludes with Rimuru expressing gratitude for Gabiru's loyalty and acknowledging the beginning of a new chapter in their relationship. Representatives from various races gathering to discuss the aftermath of defeating Demon Lord Geld. Rimuru presides over the meeting and declares that he will not hold the orcs accountable for their actions during the famine. He argues that any race, under similar circumstances, might have resorted to desperate measures. Despite initial objections from some attendees, Rimuru stands firm on his decision and offers to personally take responsibility for any consequences. Rimuru proposes the formation of a grand alliance among the races of the Jura Forest, where each race contributes resources and skills to support one another. This idea receives positive responses from the attendees, and Rimuru is unexpectedly named as the leader of the alliance. Gabiru, who was previously excommunicated from his tribe, is accepted back into the fold by his loyal followers. Rimuru names Geld as the new leader of the orcs, honoring Demon Lord Geld's dying wish. He also grants amnesty to Gabiru and his followers, recognizing their loyalty and willingness to serve. Meanwhile, Rimuru's encounter with Gazel Dwargo, the hero king of the dwarves, leads to a friendly duel to ascertain Rimuru's true character. Rimuru emerges victorious, earning Gazel's respect. Gazel proposes an alliance between his kingdom and the newly established Jura Tempest Federation, acknowledging the potential benefits for both sides. Rimuru accepts the alliance and decides to name their country the Jura Tempest Federation, with the capital city named Rimuru in honor of their leader. Thus, the episode concludes with the establishment of the Jura Tempest Federation and capital city Rimuru, marking a significant milestone in their journey towards unity and prosperity. With the aftermath of Milan's arrival at the Jura Tempest Federation, Vesta, the former Minister of Technology from Dworgen, offers his expertise to Rimuru as a gift, along with his assistant, Keijin. They express their desire to conduct research in the Federation's territory and contribute to its technological advancements. Meanwhile, Gabiru and his followers seek to join Rimuru's group, hoping to serve and atone for their past actions. Rimuru agrees to accept them and grants them new names, leading to their evolution into Dragonoots. Gabiru and his team are tasked with cultivating hipot grass in Veldora's cave, while Vesta sets up a research room to develop health potions using the grass. Additionally, Milan's arrival creates some tension, as her immense power and unpredictable nature unsettle those around her. However, Rimuru manages to befriend her and persuades her to abide by certain rules while in the Federation's territory. Despite the temporary peace, concerns arise about the reactions of other demon lords to Milan's alliance with Rimuru. It becomes apparent that Milan's actions have upset the power balance among the demon lords, and Rimuru realizes that they may face further challenges as a result. Milan causing chaos in the hot springs, playfully engaging in a water fight with Rimuru and the others. Despite the lighthearted atmosphere, Rimuru and his companions brace themselves for the potential consequences of aligning with such a powerful and unpredictable entity as Milan. Discussion among some characters reflecting on Rimuru's incredible achievements, including creating a nation of monsters and defeating the Orc Lord. Despite sounding like a tall tale, they acknowledge the truth of Rimuru's actions and their reliance on him. The characters contemplate their relationship with Rimuru, debating whether to see him as harmless or a potential threat. They decide to go see Rimuru themselves to judge him firsthand. Meanwhile, Vesta presents a new potion he has developed, equivalent to a full potion in effectiveness. Rimuru discusses the potential for mass production and negotiating with other nations for the rights to produce lower-tier potions. Milan deals with new visitors, including Phobio, a subordinate of Demon Lord Carrion, who challenges Rimuru's authority. Milan intervenes and reprimands Phobio for his actions. Phobio reveals Carrion's plan to create a puppet demon lord and expresses his anger towards Rimuru. However, Milan diffuses the situation and insists on maintaining their friendship. Later, Milan shares a secret with Rimuru about the involvement of other demon lords in a plan orchestrated by Clayman. Rimuru promises to assist Milan and pledges friendship. In a separate storyline, a team from the Farmus Kingdom, led Yume, encounters Rimuru's group. Rimuru proposes a plan for Yume to be hailed as the hero who defeated the Orc Lord, while Rimuru's group assists. Yume agrees to the plan and pledges his allegiance to Rimuru. Tyr and Footman discussing Frey's concerns about the revival of Charybdis, a powerful entity comparable to a demon lord. Tyr sets out to investigate Charybdis' location and potential for taming it. Phobio, still reeling from his defeat at the hands of Demon Lord Milam, is approached by two individuals, Footman and Tyr, who claim to be members of the Harlequin Alliance. They offer him a chance to gain power by becoming a demon lord and suggest that he could tame Charybdis, a monstrous entity of immense power. Phobio, driven by a desire for revenge and recognition, entertains the idea despite initial skepticism. Meanwhile, Rimuru and the inhabitants of Tempest receive alarming news about the revival of Charybdis, a Calamity-class monster. Treni's sister, Trya, warns them of the impending danger. explaining that Charybdis, born from Veldora's magic tools, is a relentless force of destruction. The monster's revival poses a significant threat to the region, prompting Rimuru to take action. Despite objections from others, including Milim, Rimuru resolves to confront Charybdis head-on, motivated by a promise made to Shizu and a sense of duty as the leader of Tempest. Recognizing the gravity of the situation, preparations for the impending battle against Charybdis begin in earnest. In parallel, Phobio decides to seize the opportunity presented by Footman and Tyr's offer. He sees taming Charybdis as a means to gain the power needed to exact revenge on Milim and earn recognition from Lord Carrion. Phobio's decision sets him on a collision course with Rimuru and the residents of Tempest, as both parties prepare to face the formidable threat posed by Charybdis. With the awakening of the Calamity-class monster, Charybdis, which sets its sights on capital city Rimuru. With the impending threat, Rimuru mobilizes the forces of Tempest, including Benimaru and his group, Gobta and the Goblin Riders, Jeld and the High Orcs, Gabiru and his subordinates, as well as support from King Gazel and the Pegasus Knights. As the battle against Charybdis ensues, Rimuru's forces engage the monstrous entity with their various abilities and tactics. However, they quickly realize that Charybdis possesses incredible strength and resilience, making it a formidable opponent. Despite their efforts, Charybdis' skill, magic obstruction, hinders their magic-based *** kicks, further complicating the situation. In the midst of the battle, Rimuru strategizes to isolate and weaken Charybdis by removing its magic core. With the assistance of Milim and the combined efforts of their forces, they manage to successfully defeat Charybdis, securing a hard-fought victory. Meanwhile, Phobio, who was manipulated by Charybdis, is spared by Rimuru and forgiven for his actions. Rimuru also negotiates a non-aggression agreement with Demon Lord Carrion, further strengthening diplomatic relations between their nations. Following the battle, Rimuru and the inhabitants of Tempest return home victorious, marking the end of the ordeal and the restoration of peace to their land. Peace has returned to the city of Rimuru after the defeat of Charybdis, and Rimuru takes some time to relax and enjoy the fruits of their victory. With Charybdis defeated and an agreement made with Demon Lord Carrion, Rimuru reflects on the recent events and the progress made in solidifying the Jura Forest Federation. Meanwhile, Rimuru's attention turns to the children from the free school, who were one of Shizu's main concerns. He decides to travel to the kingdom of Ingrescia, where the school is located, to fulfill Shizu's wish of helping these children. Rimuru is accompanied by Rangda, and they arrive at the royal capital of Ingrescia. Upon arrival, Rimuru conceals his true identity and visits the Free Guild headquarters to meet Grandmaster Yuki Kagurazaka, who was Shizu's former student and the founder of the school. Rimuru discusses his intentions with Yuki and expresses his desire to help the children. Yuki explains that the children at the school are summoned ones, brought to this world with a specific purpose and cursed to eventually *E due to the overwhelming energy within them. Despite knowing their fate, Rimuru is determined to help them and promises to do whatever he can. Rimuru then visits the school and introduces himself as the new teacher. However, he is surprised to find that the children are rowdy and spirited, far from the meekness he expected. Nevertheless, Rimuru is resolved to fulfill Shizu's wish and help these children find a way to live their lives to the fullest. Rimuru's interactions with the children at the free school and his determination to save them. Rimuru takes on the role of their teacher and conducts a mock battle to assess their abilities and build trust with them. Despite their initial reluctance, the children gradually begin to trust Rimuru as he demonstrates his strength and sincerity. During a picnic, Rimuru continues his efforts to bond with the children and offers them a reward for their hard work. However, their conversation is interrupted when a powerful presence, identified as a sky dragon, approaches the capital. Rimuru decides to confront the dragon to protect the city and the children. After successfully repelling the dragon's attack, Rimuru receives an invitation from a merchant named Mjormiles, who expresses his gratitude for Rimuru's heroism. Rimuru accepts the invitation and decides to visit Mjormiles' city, hoping to establish trade relations and acquire knowledge to benefit his own nation. Meanwhile, Rimuru learns about the Dwelling of the Spirit, a location where high-ranking spirits reside, from a local woman. Determined to find a way to save the children, Rimuru sets his sights on reaching the Dwelling of the Spirit and seeks further information about its location. Rimuru's commitment to fulfilling Shizu's wish and protecting the children remains unwavering, driving him to seek out new allies and explore new avenues for their salvation. Rimuru and the group reaching the Dwelling of the Spirit, where they encounter Ramirez, a young and eccentric demon lord who claims to be the queen of the fairies. Ramirez guides them through the labyrinthine paths of the dwelling of the spirit and explains that she can help summon high-ranking spirits to inhabit the children's bodies and control the magical energy within them. As they delve deeper into the labyrinth, they face a trial in the form of a powerful golem crafted by Ramirez. Despite the challenge, Rimuru manages to defeat the golem and impress Ramirez with his abilities. Ramirez reveals that she can grant the protection of the spirits to heroes, including the fallen hero Leon, who has become a demon lord. She also offers to assist Rimuru in summoning high-ranking spirits to inhabit the children. Finally, they reach the innermost depths of the dwelling of the spirit, where Rimuru prepares to call forth high-ranking spirits to save the children. Despite the challenges ahead, Rimuru is determined to fulfill Shizu's wish and save the children from their fate. Rimuru and his companions embark on a mission to save the children afflicted with defective conditions by summoning high-ranking spirits to inhabit them. Led by Ramirez, the fairy queen, they journey deep into the dwelling of the spirit, a labyrinthine realm filled with natural energy. As they begin the summoning process, each of the children, Kenya, Ryota, Gale, Alice, and Chloe, takes their turn to call out to the spirits. Despite initial doubts, the spirits respond, and Rimuru, utilizing his unique skills, successfully unifies the spirits with the children, granting them control over their magical energy. However, during Chloe's summoning, a powerful and enigmatic entity manifests within her, causing concern among the group. Rimuru's great sage appraises the situation, revealing the entity to possess immense energy and an unknown origin. Despite the uncertainty surrounding Chloe's condition, Rimuru and his companions manage to stabilize her, ensuring the safety of all the children. Grateful for Rimuru's assistance, Ramirez agrees to help summon a demon to possess a replacement golem, as per their agreement. With the children now safe and free to live ordinary lives, Rimuru offers them identification and invites them to join the Free Guild, providing them with opportunities for their future. As the episode concludes, Rimuru bids farewell to the children, reflecting on his journey from an ordinary human to the leader of a burgeoning nation, while acknowledging the challenges he has faced and the bonds he has formed along the way. Rimuru is desperately summoning a demon to aid him in his quest for revenge against those who harmed Shizu. He offers his soul in exchange for the demon's assistance, leading to a contract being sealed. The demon, known as Black, agrees to help Rimuru and sets out to wreak havoc in the Filtwood Kingdom, where Shizu once visited. The kingdom, facing a threat from a revived demon, seeks the assistance of renowned adventurers, including Shizu. However, it's soon revealed that the king and his minions are in cahoots with the demon Orthos, who orchestrates the sacrifices of adventurers to empower himself. Shizu, aided by Rimuru's memories and powers, confronts Orthos and the traitorous king. A fierce battle ensues, showcasing Shizu's incredible strength and the extent of Rimuru's influence. Despite facing formidable opponents, Shizu ultimately emerges victorious, purging the kingdom of demons and restoring peace. Rimuru reflects on the events that transpired and acknowledges the significance of his encounters with Shizu and Black. The narrative hints at future developments, including Rimuru's eventual summoning of Black, who receives the name Diablo.